Good morning, campers. This is Crusader Rabbit, KBNY 5962, starting our broadcasting day. And today, for your viewer enjoyment, bringing you the Zeiss Ikon Contaflex Super B SLR camera. On the front of the camera here, we have the business end. It's a Carl Zeiss Tessar f2.8 50mm lens. There's a little window here that lights up a section inside, manually lights up from the light outside of the camera, room light or outdoor light. It lights up this meter, and it also lights up the current aperture value, and that would appear on the inside of the viewfinder. And if you look in the viewfinder, there's probably not enough light to be able to see. I'm not quite sure which side it's on since it's upside down. Anyway, that's what the inside of the viewfinder looks like, and I guess from upside down there's no light going in there, so you can't see it. Well, that was a bad choice to try to show you that. Anyway, this is the selenium cell. Let's work around the camera before we go to the light meter or the lens itself. On the right side, we'll work right to left. Right side, we have the film advance, shutter cocking charging lever. We have the shutter release, and we also have the frame counter. And this is kind of a unique camera where you can you set the value. You have to manually reset. You can see like the little marker right there. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, if we set it to here, say we're running 36 exposures, then when we cycle through the camera after loading film in, it actually instead of counting up, telling you how many exposed frames have you completed, it actually counts down from 36. So it'll go like, 36, 35. So we're on what, 35 right now, 34, 33, 32, 31, and maybe I hit the little dial while I was winding, but yeah, you can see where it's below 30 now. So it's a little countdown timer counter. Maybe it's inaccurate. Maybe it's going more than one. Yeah, it kind of looks that way actually. Nah, that's okay. Anyway, I thought it was unique that it counts down rather than counting up. Maybe it acts different when there's film in it. Yeah, I could only hope. Okay, so we have shutter release, exposed frame counter, decrementer, and the frame advance lever, shutter charger lever. We have the accessory shoe right here, and there is the sync port for flash, and there is an accessory port for an accessory to be named later. Over here we have the exposure meter. Exposure meter is only active when the when the shutter is activated, when it's cocked, when it's ready to fire. Once the shutter closes, see, I don't believe the meter will move, but once we activate it, then you can see how the meter reacts to the available light. And then below that we have the film plane indicator if you're interested in measuring the distance between you and the subject, so that you can focus on that distance rather than through the lens focusing, I guess. Okay, and then over here we have the rewind lever, and we have like a little reminder wheel that'll tell you what kind of film you have loaded into the camera. And then over here we have the ASA setting, and there's a little ASA setting locking thing here where you have to kind of like take this little lever. There's like a little guard here so you don't actually hit the lever, and you can kind of like take the lever and move it down, and then you can spin the dial and change the ASA. And then this also has a kind of like a +1 exposure compensator for like a cloudy day based or a sunny day. And then you have to hold it while you take the picture, and then it automatically resets. So that's the front of the camera. Back of the camera we have the viewfinder and look into the rangefinder, or look through the lens. So it's a viewfinder, and also you will gain focus by the, I think I was trying to show you before, there's like a split screen there. Okay, maybe if I do it upside down. Oh, it needs to be, you can't see through unless you open up the shirt. So there you can see it, and I think you can see the little center circle there that has like, it's kind of like a double system where the inner circle is a split level, and you can align the two horizontally so that they match and you're in focus. And then there's kind of like a lighthouse Fresnel lens around that you can also focus the image to that. And that's pretty much on the back of the camera. Sides we have your little lugs for your strap holders. On the bottom of the camera we have locks that you spin in order to unlock the back. That is your tripod mount. And then on this one, when you want to rewind your film, you take and you move it to the R setting for rewind. That causes a little cam on the inside to press up against a little lever, which disengages the shutter winding feature. Then it allows you to rewind. And if we continue, we can take off the back that way, and you can see the shutter in action. Of course, once you actually take a picture, the only way you're going to see through the lens again is to advance the film, charge the shutter, and then the mirror will come down, and once again you can see through the lens. And we simply do the opposite when we want to put the back on. So what have we done? We've done top, we've done back, we've done bottom, we've done sides. Let's take a look at the lens. Lens, we have interchangeable lens. There's like a little button right here. You can press it in, and then you can take this element and remove the front element of the lens, and you can replace it with other front elements. After that, we have the shutter control right here. Right now it's at a 500th of a second, and it'll go all the way down to 1 second, and it won't go to B in automatic mode. We'll get to that later, but we can let you listen to the shutter here. It's 1 second. Probably hear the timer there. I think that's accurate. 1 Mississippi. And let's try something a little faster. 30th of a second. And we can go a little faster. 1/250th of a second. Shutter seems to be working very nicely. After that, we have, like I was talking about, there's a little locking key here, and if you want to change your aperture settings, right now it's in automatic mode, but if you depress the little key, then you can move your aperture settings. So it's like I have it like set on, it kind of like clicks into position. So right now it's clicked in to F16. If I want to take and move it to, you know, like F11, I have to press down on the little key and then move to F11, and then it'll lock into place. And then below that we have the depth of field scale. So for instance, if I set infinity to F16, I know everything between F16 and about 6 feet will be in focus. And this scale here, that's the scale for aperture settings when you're in manual mode. And then over here, this is the scale. They're like little scale numbers for flash sync when you're using a 50mm lens. And then down here we have flash scale settings when you're using 35mm lens. And what else is there? Oh, I think the last thing that we need to talk about is the setting for the flash bulb or electronic flash. And then there's a little locking bar here, and you can bring this lever and bring it over and put it into shutter delay mode. So I think that's about